With me is Mr. Ray Bender and Mr. Tom Harlan. We're here for the bid opening for the Clarence Schock Memorial Park development. We have 5 bids. As I put before you, it's a little different. I don't have the package to actually open. It was done in PennBid. It goes from lowest to highest, as you can see. We are not asking for any award or recommendation for bid at this particular time, because the board of the Clarence Schock Memorial obviously will have to go ahead and sit down and review the figures, make sure it's well within their means for what the bid, the ceiling was, the threshold was. And also attached to that is a breakout from each one of the bidders, which tells you what their base bid was, what it was for, and then at the bottom of this sheet, it indicates the alternates to have what the alternates would be in the event that the funds were available, so they could go ahead and do the alternates as well. I spoke with Mr. Bender a little bit, but if there's any technical questions or any questions you have about the finance or whatever, I'm sure Mr. Bender or Mr. Harlan could probably give you a better idea than I could.
I have a question.
Sure.
Could you tell me again the term you used and then explain why you don't have bids to open?
They were advertised on PennBid. PennBid is authorized for the bidding requirements. However, the requirement from the state, because the county code did not change, the county must still advertise the bid in the local newspaper, which was done.
And they had the alternate to bid in paper if they chose. No one did.
And so they simply gave you these numbers in a chart?
No, they were electronically submitted and are only to be opened. They were opened. They were submitted and released an hour ago, I think it was.
Yeah,
9 a.m.
The PennBid simply is an online bidding system. Yeah. Everything is done online, and it goes to the PennBid. But all the documents are available online, which is explained in the advertisement when it's put out for PennBid. They can simply click on, get all the documents off what the parameters of the construction project is, and again, in the same respect, we put it in the local newspaper, and we told them the procedures to follow to get a copy of the bid documents, and also if they didn't want to submit through PennBid, they had the option of dropping it off at the commissioner's office, like we always do on any other bid. We had it by 9 o'clock today. It could have been dropped off, so it could have been opened. That particular bid, had someone dropped it off, would have been opened at this meeting, and it would have been put in place in the sequence of these other
Thanks for the explanation. This is new to me.
It's the first time we've done it since I've been here. It's the way most people are going because of I think it's more of a secure way. It's a faster way, but also it does not eliminate the people that don't have the computers or don't have the capability of doing it online. So they still have the option to go ahead and submit the paper bid like they have in the past.
My question, follow-up, if I may, is it the state that operates PennBid, or who operates it? It's
not the state that operates. I don't believe. I can't tell you for sure. Maybe you know better, Ray.
PennDOT went to all electronic bidding about 10 years ago.
And they use the PennBid system?
Yes, and they opened that system to the municipalities perhaps 4 years ago. But as Dennis says, most municipalities are just getting into it now, and you still have the requirement to advertise and to make paper available for those that choose not to do the electronic.
Wilson Consulting does this often with a lot of their projects and clients now, and so when Nate McCullough from Wilson said we could do it this way, we researched it with the solicitor. The only remaining question was for Dennis was, did we need to still advertise in the paper? Solicitor said yes, we must. Would have been a cost savings not to, but we still must. So
the problem is if you don't advertise in the newspaper, it takes away, like Ray and I were talking earlier, it does eliminate quite a few people that don't have the capability of doing online bidding. This way, they're still afforded the opportunity to submit a paper documents if they elect to do so.
Well, I guess because it is new, I just want to understand it. Sometimes we get right-to-know requests, and they want copies of documents. Now, do we still have to keep them, or do we refer them to PennBid, or how would that work?
Well, I'm making that I can't answer, but I can tell you that anything, all the documents that were on the PennBid, I have.
document.
So you do
So I
print them
keep
out?
hard copies in the document. I
Okay.
do have a hard copy of all those documents. They're all in this file right here.
PennBid's just the vehicle for submittal of bids. We still get everything just like we always.
Yeah, I think we're still the responsible entity to go ahead and maintain the hard paper documents.
So if there were a right to know, as you,
Would still come through us?
Yeah.
we'd still have the documents.
Okay, I just wanted to understand, so thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions from you two? Anybody else on the board?
Jamie?
Your available funds versus the bids, and how are you viewing?
We're short. The lowest base bid is higher than the engineer's estimate, which itself was higher than the original cost estimate and budget. So we've already started the dialogue with the engineer as to what might be able to be cut to get us down to the base bid. And we'll have to be looking for alternative funding, because I suspect we're going to need something to fill the gap, and the state's not going to come through with it. Their grant was based upon the original cost estimate. They'd have to re-rank every application to give us any more money, so that won't happen.
And your numbers are what, right? Your cost estimate versus the bid? 368 is the bid, were you at 350?
Yes.
And these are really back of the envelope numbers at this point on my part. But I would say we have presently available about 335. So we'd have to look for either cuts or additional funding to get us to the 368.5 base bid. The alternates, I think, are out of the picture at this point. They're just too much higher. Fortunately, the alternates were all items that we picked that can be added later. It's the trusses and the roofs for over the waiting areas, and electric to the restroom. With the electric, our own maintenance man could probably do, particularly given, I think the low bidder for the electric was like 21,000 extra. Well, that's an awful lot of money to one circuit to our restroom.
How does Psycho feel about the project? Is there any chance a one-time allocation would be asked for?
Well, we had hoped to come back to the commissioners at one of your November meetings for award and the work to happen over the winter. So we've got to move fairly quickly to see what resources are available. Are there changes or cuts that we can make by change order to the low bidder to get us down a bit? We probably can't do anything big because it would have to go back to DCNR. Like the big cost item is the restroom. And I think the low bidder was like $90,000 on that or something. I may have misspoken. No, the low bidder was $65,800 on that. But to cut $65,000 out, we'd have to go back to DCNR and get their approval. And I'd hate to lose that element of the project anyway. But there may be some other things that the engineer can come up with.
Yeah, if you can squeeze it down, maybe there's, maybe you could think.
Get a smaller gap, and if the park can find
tourism,
additional money.
I mean, with the impact that has on the county for drawing from outside the county.
Yes. If the county could find any money, we might be able to go back to, the Schock Foundation is really run by Fulton Bank now, but we do get funds from them each year, 15,000 of which is discretionary. We may be able to pick up some of that, of 19 money. Again, we're really at this point, they're fresh numbers as of an hour ago. We really have to look at them hard and then get with the engineer and get back with the county.
I'm sure the two of you could come up with alternatives. That'll
I hope.
Appreciate your confidence.
Did you say shed or share?
I hope you said share.
All right, any other questions? And what action do we need to take?
None.
this?
Well,
At this
receive the
point,
bids, I
at this
guess.
point on, we'll just come back at a later date for our official award based off that these two gentlemen come up with.
Thank you for bringing the information to the board, and
Thank you.
certainly